Hey guys, welcome to the show. I'm Rantoinette. God damn, we have a lot of stories to get through today. It is unbelievable how much shit is going on. We got Donald Trump crashing out. We got the president bringing in all kinds of criminals and murderers into the White House. I'll let you decide which ones those are. There's so many of them. We've got ICE just absolutely going crazy in North Carolina right now. We've got former Democrats who are now Donald Trump bootlickers, and they are desperately trying to defend the president. We got Epstein file stuff. It's just so much to get to. But before I get started, if you guys wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, I would really appreciate that. Helps me out in the algorithm. Thank you very much. So without any further ado, let's get to our first story. We're going to be going through some of Donald Trump's crash outs, and I wanted to start off with something funny here. We've got Steve Doocy, the sequel, and he is on the grounds of the White House right after the big 20,000 email Epstein dump, and Donald Trump is not happy, but for some reason Steve Doocy is playing it off like, no. Donald Trump is having a good time using the White House as his music room.
If it sounds like here at the White House, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me by Elton John and George Michael is blasting over a speaker in the Rose Garden and then over here onto the north side, that's because Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me is blasting out of a speaker over in the Rose Garden, over here onto the north lawn. As we understand it, in talking to some folks in the West Wing, President Trump today is having some fun. He's got his phone out and
look at the look on this guy's face, man. He doesn't even believe this shit, but he has to sell this.
His playlist pulled up and the music is playing.
Oh my giddy aunt, spare me. And the music is playing. Yeah, man. Don't let the sun go down on me. That's not the most happy, uplifting song that you could play. Also, that wasn't the only tune that he was playing. Donald Trump is zesty, and he does love a little zest in his life. Check this one out. Playing the Phantom of the Opera. Oh man, sad Trump is definitely my favorite Trump. Now there's probably a good reason why he is sad. I'll let Harry Enton tell you all about it.
Numbers that you see on this one to go against what Donald Trump wanted.
You know, usually Donald Trump has his pulse on the Republican base, but he did not on this issue, because what are we talking about?
Do the dip, Harry Enton.
Well, GOP on the Epstein files. Approve of Trump. We're used to seeing approval of Trump among Republicans being 85, 90%. But when it came to the Epstein files, look at this. Just 44%, south of 50% of Republicans actually approved on Donald Trump when it came to the Epstein files. Compare that to this. What was the percentage of Republicans that wanted all of the Epstein files released? 67%. So what we were dealing with is simple mathematics. The Republican base was against Donald Trump on the Epstein files. They were with the idea of releasing them. The Republican representatives saw that and therefore were not afraid to go against Donald Trump, because this was the rare instance in which the Republican base was not with Donald Trump. They were actually with the idea of being against Donald Trump and releasing the Epstein files.
And what I do find really interesting about this is that on most other things, Republican voters love Donald Trump. He's still in the 85, 90 degree range. But on this particular topic, they are, as Harry Enton says, below water. And they don't seem to understand that those two are the same thing. If you are a Republican person and you happen to be listening to my voice right now and you are giving Donald Trump praise for all the things that he does, but you're against them on this one, and you're blaming the Trump administration for it and not blaming him for it, come back to reality, folks, okay? Seriously. This is his show. Trump administration does what Trump wants them to do. And if he wants Pam Bondi to bury these Epstein files, which she probably will do in an investigation, then that is exactly what she is going to do. And it's all because Donald Trump wants her to do it.
One way that you have long been able to kind of gauge, at least if people are really interested in something, is how you're gauging on Google searches. What has that shown over the last
Yeah,
year?
what is that showing? You know, back in July, there was this idea, there was this push, right, to release the Epstein files, and Mike Johnson said, you know what, I'm sending the House home, adios amigos, goodbye. There was interest in it, but not to the degree that we're seeing right now. Okay, Google searches for Jeffrey Epstein versus a week ago, up nearly 1,200%. That we have seen more searches over the last 5-day period for Jeffrey Epstein than any 5-day period.
Look, I know that this has been going on for a long time, and if you are a follower of the news, then you know that this Epstein thing has been brewing for not just a few months, but a few years. And you'd be surprised at the fact that it's gone up 1,200% in the last couple of days. But there are so many normie people out there that don't really pay attention to this stuff. And judging by this 1,200 percentage point mark, now all of a sudden the mainstream people are starting to pay attention to it. It's become more in the zeitgeist, and it's really hard to avoid.
Entire year, much more so than we saw even in July. And more than that, the top associated search topic with Jeffrey Epstein was Donald Trump. This problem, simply put, was not going away. So what you were dealing with was many Republicans unhappy with how Trump was dealing with the Epstein files, many Republicans wanting those Epstein files released, and more than that, it was climbing in the interest levels, so it wasn't going away. So all of a sudden, the Republican representatives are saying, jailbreak time, adios amigos, we're going to leave Donald Trump. We are going to vote to release those files long before Donald Trump even said, you know what, you should release them all.
What are you seeing in terms of what people think really are the chances that the files will be released now?
Okay, so we're going to hold this House vote, right? And we expect that a lot of House Republicans are going to say release them. But there is still a problem insofar as getting them released. That is, one of the biggest problems is the United States Senate. They may not even vote on it. And so here we go.
You got to keep in mind that this came out a couple of days before the actual vote took place. He was under the impression there's a very good distinct chance that the Senate would block it and just bury it. But the Senate passed it unanimously. So now it is on Donald Trump's desk, and Donald Trump signed it. So this is just a couple of days old because things are moving so damn fast. I just wanted you to see what the polling was and what the people were actually thinking about Donald Trump and his handling of the Epstein files.
I think a good sort of baseline understanding of will Donald Trump actually release any more Epstein files before the end of his second term. On Saturday, it was 50%. Now Trump says, you know, we should release them all. If a bill gets to my desk, I would sign it. But even so, it's still 72%. So majority chance that we will see more Epstein files. I think it's a good use of the prediction.
Yeah, but the Epstein files we're going to see are just going to be on Democrats. I showed a video a couple of days ago about a guy who works for the Justice Department that was caught in a sting operation done by Project Veritas, where he admitted that they are scrubbing not just Donald Trump's name from the Epstein files, but also all Republicans. So only thing that's going to be left and unredacted and not blackbarred out is going to be Democrats like Bill Clinton and Reid Hoffman and all those types. So don't get your hopes up when it comes to having this full release of the Epstein files. Personally, I think we are never going to see that, at least not while Donald Trump is alive. So don't get your hopes up too high about this. So that is probably one of the reasons why Donald Trump is crashing out as hard as he is. And I've got some examples, and they are fucking amazing. This is Donald Trump losing his shit at a reporter asking about the Epstein files.
What did Jeffrey Epstein mean in his emails when he said you knew about the girls?
I know nothing about that. They would have announced that a long time ago. It's really, what did he mean when he spent all the time with Bill Clinton, with the president of Harvard, who you know, that is Summers, Larry Summers, whatever his.
See what I mean? He's just talking about the Democrats and Larry Summers and Reid Hoffman and Bill Clinton, and that is what he is priming his MAGA base for. I'm going to release those files, and that should make you happy, right? Stop looking at me, please.
Name is, and the people that he spent time with. Jeffrey Epstein and I had a very bad relationship for many years. Mm-hmm. but he also saw strength because I was
He misses
president.
his friend.
So he dictated a couple of memos to himself. Give me a break. You're going to find out what did he know with respect to Bill Clinton, with respect to the head of Harvard, with respect to all of those people that he knew, including J.P. Morgan Chase. Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead. Go ahead.
In the file,
Venezuela,
Why
sir?
not act? Why are you acting as if
Quiet, Biggie.
on Venezuela, sir? You got
God damn, man. That is harsh. Quiet piggy. That's the one that everybody's been losing their minds over. I mean, this is not the first time that Donald Trump has tore into a reporter, and most of the time he tends to do it towards women because he doesn't have any respect for women. He's kind of a he-man, woman hater types, but yet he's still so damn zesty and loves show tunes. Sorry, I don't want to get off on a tangent here about how light in the loafers Donald Trump could very well be. But when I hear him say quiet piggy and the way he said it's not just so it rolled off the tongue way too easily. The first thing that popped in my head was, oh my God, that's how he talks to his daughter, Tiffany. I think that Tiffany probably is his least favorite child, even lower than his least favorite son, Eric Trump. He does not like Tiffany, and I am just imagining him saying that to her when she was younger because she wasn't as tall and thin and beautiful as the daughter that he wanted to have sex with. So when I hear him go, quiet piggy, I'm like, oh my God. He has said that many times before. And I'm not saying that he ever called his daughter Tiffany Piggy, but I think he called his daughter Tiffany Piggy. I don't know, maybe that reporter reminded him of it. We got some more crash out here. He is tearing into another reporter. Somebody is asking him about the Tucker Carlson interview with Nick Fuentes. And remember, Donald Trump did have dinner with Nick Fuentes because Kanye West brought him over, but nobody's really talking about that. And while he is being asked about Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump making excuses, well, Tucker Carlson said nice things about me, even though he said some awful shit about you too. He said that you were a destroyer after January 6th. And he also said he could not wait to never have to talk about you again. But he has since licked Donald Trump's boots and he is back in the fold. So Donald Trump, while he's being asked about Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes, somebody else asks a question and Donald Trump does his Donald Trump thing.
Recently had a friendly interview with anti-Semite Nick Fuentes. Tucker Carlson. What role do you think Tucker Carlson should play in the Republican Party and the conservative movement going forward?
Well, I found him to be good. I mean, he said good things about me over the years. I think he's good. We've had some good interviews. I did an interview with him. We had 300 million hits. You know that. Look, I can't tell him. Will you let me finish my statement? You are the worst. You're with Bloomberg, right? You are the worst. I don't know why they even have you.
Man, he is just such a fucking dog, man. He is mean as a snake. Now, I had to include this just because it's, it's in this. I had to include this because this has happened in the last week and he's talking about. So he was asked about his MRI that he had a couple of weeks ago, and he does not have a great answer.
Could you tell us why you needed to get an MRI? I understand that the results were good, but what was it for?
Because it's part of my physical. Getting an MRI is very standard. Well, you think I should?
Getting an MRI is very standard. What, you don't think I should have one and it's part of my physical? Not really. An MRI is not part of a normal physical. An MRI is due to you having some other condition, and then they're like, we'd like to do an MRI. So that's some happy horseshit right there.
Other people get it.
Typically, an MRI
I had
is
an
some
MRI.
specific part of your body
Here's
or
what the
scanning.
story is.
Here's the story.
I had an MRI. The doctor said it was the best result he has ever seen as a doctor. That's it. But I had an MRI as part of my...
Oh, come on, man. It's the best result he's ever seen as a doctor. Honey, let's put it this way. An MRI is kind of like a pass-fail. You know, either you've got something bad going on or you don't have something bad going on. But the only reason why they would give you an MRI is if you were showing symptoms that required an MRI for further investigation. So it's the best that he's ever seen. He gave me a 95. I got a straight A plus for it because I have the best brain. Trust me, nobody knows more about book than me.
My standard yearly, or I think they do it every 2 years. But
Yeah, but this is like his third physical this year. So yeah, it's my annual 3 times a year physical.
I have the physical every year, and the result was outstanding. I have no idea what they analyze, but whatever they analyzed it well.
I don't know what they analyzed, but they analyzed it well. Were you checking on them while you were inside the MRI machine or after you got out of the MRI machine? Are you judging the analysis from the standpoint of my brain? What the fuck are you talking about?
And they said that I had as good a result as they've ever seen. Thank you much. Thank you, everybody.
He had a good as result as anybody I've ever seen. And just to bring you back, this is what he said when he was asked about the MRI that he had taken.
Passed like the exams that I decided to take when I was at Walter Reed. That was a very hard. I would love to do it. I have my best numbers ever. It's very terrible. I have my best numbers. If you read it, am I not ruling it out? I mean, you'll have to tell me. All I can tell you is that we have a great group of people, which they don't. They have Jasmine Crockett, a low IQ person. They have AOC's low IQ. You give her an IQ test. Have her pass like the exams that I decided to take when I was at Walter Reed.
Dude, you did not decide to take these exams. They were given to you because they were checking on something, checking on your cognitive ability. It's not an IQ test, my dog. This is something else.
Those are very hard. They're really aptitude tests, I guess, in a certain way, but they're cognitive tests. Let AOC go against Trump. Let Jasmine go against Trump. I don't think Jasmine. The first couple of questions are easy: a tiger, an elephant, a giraffe. You know.
That's not on an IQ test, okay? I'm sorry, honey. They don't ask you what an animal is on an IQ test. I've taken an IQ test. There are no animals to be found.
When you get up to about 5 or 6, and then when you get up to 10 and 20 and 25, they couldn't come close to answering any of those questions.
Okay, so he's talking about what he thinks is an IQ test or an aptitude test. Let's just take a look at it, shall we? So here's the cognitive test that Donald Trump is saying that is some kind of aptitude test or an IQ test that he dares Jasmine Crockett or AOC try to complete. Of course, they're both women of color, and Donald Trump, we know how Donald Trump feels about women of color. So you have questions like, can you reproduce this box with a pen or a pencil and paper? Ask patient to copy the cube. Ask the patient to draw a clock 10 past 11. So they actually have to draw it out. Here are the animals that Donald Trump is talking about. Is it lions and tigers and bears? Oh my. Ask the patient's name. Then we start getting difficult. We have memory tests, and they read off 5 words: face velvet, church daisy red, and then they have to repeat them back. And then they test their attention, and then read and ask a patient to repeat, I only know that John is the one to help today. Read and ask the patient, the cat always hides under the couch when the dogs were in the room. And then they ask them to repeat that. Abstraction, ask the patient similarly between train and bicycle. And then the patient would say they're both modes of transportation. Ask the patient similarly between watch and ruler. They both measure things. Ask the patient to recall the words with no clue from the memory test from the previous. So it would be face velvet, church daisy red. Asked the patient and the last question, what he was saying, and when it gets down to question 20 through 25, they're very difficult. Ask the patient the day, the month, the year, the place, and the city that they're in. So, yeah, man, I'm pretty sure that Jasmine Crockett and AOC could handle both of those, especially the hard ones at the end. More on Donald Trump's crash out. He has asked a question, I believe, about Venezuela, and Donald Trump, he's got something on his mind, and it is distracting him.
The health of the president's always news. Your voice sounds a little rough. Are you feeling all right?
I feel great. I was shouting at people because they were stupid about something having to do with trade and
having to do with trade. I don't remember there's any trade negotiations going on at the moment. There is something else that's going on right at this moment that could be causing Donald Trump to be mad and yelling at stupid people, but it's not trade, I'm pretty sure.
Country, and I straightened it out, but I blew my stack at these people.
Well, it sounds like
I heard he blew Bubba, but okay, blowing his stack, maybe that's different.
there's a follow-up there, but can I ask you about Venezuela? You suggested...
Is there what?
It sounds like there's a follow-up there, but can I ask you about
I
Venezuela?
thought you said there was a polyp, and I said, I don't want to hear that.
I have no doubt that Donald Trump probably has many polyps, not just in his throat, but probably elsewhere. Ew, sorry, gave you a nasty thought there. My apologies. So the crash out continues at the White House, and Donald Trump is lighting into reporters left and right because, of course, he is. And the fact that this particular woman that he's lighting into right now is a woman is no surprise because Donald Trump hates women, and he is standing next to his best buddy. Come on, man. Don't you see that he's standing next to somebody that he loves and admires? If I'm not mistaken, Donald Trump's first trip abroad this year was to Saudi Arabia to go visit his buddy MBS. And since he is the only person that likes gold leaf more than Donald Trump does, they probably have some kind of kindred spirit. So this reporter doing what reporters do, asking questions, especially about a dictator and the butcher of Jamal Khashoggi. What else would you ask if you were a reporter standing in front of Donald Trump and this piece of shit?
Is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office.
I am too.
Why should Americans trust
Who are you with?
And the same team, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news, ABC fake news, one of the
But the
worst,
question is
one of the
legitimate,
worst
sir.
in the business. But I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I
Bullshit.
have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually.
Okay, so no, they have done plenty with Saudi Arabia. No, you have not separated yourself because your sons are running the business. And are you telling me that you don't have a conversation with your kids? Suck a bag of dicks. You are lying your ass off, and yet you are still not answering her question.
And anything they've done has been very good. That's why they do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody
I'm
bringing in
still
$21
not
trillion. That I can tell you right now.
21 trillion, my ass cheeks. Get the fuck out of here. $21 trillion of bullshit promises. God damn.
Gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial.
He's talking about the journalist Jamal Khashoggi as extremely controversial. This guy, according to our own CIA, Donald Trump's CIA at the time, admitted that MBS lured Jamal Khashoggi into the Turkish embassy, only to have him killed and chopped up into little bits with a bone saw. There are actual audio recordings released by the Turkish embassy, and you could hear the screams as he's being killed and chopped up and then thrown in a vat of acid to be disposed of. This piece of shit Arabian dictator with a goddamn Pizza Hut tablecloth on his head killed a reporter, and Donald Trump did not give a shit about it when it happened, and he sure as shit doesn't give a shit about it now, because he knows he was making billions of dollars in selling weapons to an autocrat dictator who has people killed in the public square for apostasy and blasphemy. And if you say one word about the royal family, you're dead. And Donald Trump loves this guy. I love the Saudis. They buy all my apartments. They have so much money, and they love gold as much as I do. And how dare you, little lady, ask a question of this great, great man. So what? He killed a reporter. He was controversial.
You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen, but he knew nothing about it.
Things happen. The thing about having him chopped up with a bone saw and thrown in a vat of acid, and he didn't know anything about it, even though the CIA admitted that he ordered the fucking hit. Kiss my entire ass.
Things happen, but he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
It's just you ask Mr. President, you allow me to answer.
We do not need to hear his bullshit ass fucking answer. Now, this reporter does not stop asking questions. I think we've gotten to a point where Donald Trump tearing into a reporter, calling them names, doesn't seem to bother reporters anymore, because I think that they're expecting it at this point. And if you're going to be a reporter in Donald Trump's purview, then you're just going to have to get used to the idea that if you ask a question that he isn't like, fake news, I don't like you, you're a nasty woman, shut up, stop asking me questions that I don't want to answer, fake news, Mom, they're doing another witch hunt on me again, make them stop, we got to do something about this. So this reporter decides, I'm not going to stop, I'm going to continue asking questions. You didn't answer my last one, why don't we try a new one?
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
Now, that is a very good question. Donald Trump does not have to wait on Congress or the Senate or even Pam Bondi to do anything about it. He can release the files at any time. He could have released the files months and months ago, but he does not want to do that. And I think we all know why. Judging by the 20,000 emails that dropped, Donald Trump's name is mentioned more than anybody else by a landslide. Even Bill Clinton is only mentioned in there about 350 times. Donald Trump is mentioned in there 1,600 times. So if anybody could be accused of having some kind of relationship with Epstein, and even if we didn't have the hundreds and hundreds of pictures with Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein at parties, at Mar-a-Lago, being buddy-buddy, it's Donald Trump. Anyway, this reporter asked a very good question that any normal reporter would ask. But Donald Trump does not like being asked questions that he doesn't want to answer. So instead of answering it, he just decides, I'm going to forego the answer and go straight for your jugular.
It's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude.
Bullshit.
I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just
asking MBS why he had an American journalist chopped up with a bone saw and thrown into a vat of acid, and she is insubordinate. Donald Trump, suck an entire bag of dicks.
Terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up.
How else is she supposed to ask it? Mr. President, you could release the Epstein files. Why are you waiting on Congress? Why don't you just do it now? How much nicer could she ask?
Somebody psychs you over at ABC. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every
Say Reid
single
Hoffman.
weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did.
Who else?
Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get...
Which is it, Don? You cannot have it both ways. Either it's a hoax or it's real, but only with Democrats. Which one is it? You can't have it both ways. I know you're over here kneading the dough and weaving the weave and doing this right here. Pay attention to my hands, folks. I'm mesmerizing you.
Me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me. But he gave...
Yeah, but you wrote him a check for a girl. I remember seeing the picture of it as one of those big, ridiculous TV checks for like $21,000 or $22,000. And on it, it said, for depreciated girl. Jeffrey Epstein got finished with one of them, and you, Donald Trump, bought a girl off of him. Oh, I know, it's a joke. It's just a joke. Yeah, but you did date her. You guys shared girls, and not to mention the fact that you spent time alone with a young woman in his house in Manhattan. And no, honey, I'm pretty sure you guys weren't playing fucking gin rummy for 4 hours. Y'all were doing something else. You spent all the time in the world with him. You've got hundreds and hundreds of pictures together. Email after email of him talking about you in very intimate terms. You guys fucking knew each other. He never gave me money. Yeah, but you wrote him a check for a woman.
Money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. Your crappy company is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
I'm not going to listen to you.
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake.
Good God, man. He is back to that one now. I mean, look at him. And I'll tell you what. I think that the license should be taken away because I have all the power and I don't like you very much. Well, look, dog, it didn't work out so good for you the last time you got your fucking FCC douche canoe chair to go after Jimmy Kimmel, and he ended up getting his job back. You know what, man? I think that people might have been scared of you a few months ago and what you could do, but dog, your star is waning. The light coming from the Trump sun is not shining as bright as it used to. People are not afraid of you. They see that you are scared shitless of this whole Epstein thing. And I don't think that anybody's worried about you or your idiot FCC chair snatching away your fucking license. At the beginning of the year, we've got all of these media companies paying tribute to Donald Trump anytime he wanted to sue them. But I think we've gotten to a point where I don't think anybody's worried about it. And I don't think that this reporter gives two shits about your threats to take away their fucking broadcast license. Did you see the smugness? I got to roll this back just to see the smugness while he pats his, I've got a list right here. And I'll tell you what.
Your hoax. Your crappy company is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
I'm not even listening.
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, the chairman, who should look at that because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump, and then Trump wins the election in a landslide.
It was not a landslide. You won 49% of the vote. That's not a landslide, man. You won 49.5%. Kamala won 48%. Not even remotely close to a fucking landslide. And if 97% of the news is against you, then maybe it's because 97% of the time you were doing some crooked ass shit.
That means obviously your news is not credible, and you're not credible as a reporter. So
and you are not credible as a president, and we're all sick of your fucking shenanigans. Donald Trump is hurt, y'all. He is not happy. He is playing Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me in the White House, using the entirety of the building as his own sound studio. He is not having a good week. And honestly, I couldn't be happier because I love it when bad people have tough weeks. Every time you see him tear into a reporter, every time you see him scream and yell about how something is not fair, just know that Donald Trump is scared shitless. Every time you see Donald Trump puff up his chest and act like he's a big badass and he's going to do some things, and I tell you what, I'm going to take away your license. Hey, shut up, little piggy. Every time you see him do that, that is him posturing, being a tough guy. There is nothing tough about this man. He has a fucking comb over. He wears more makeup than I do. He wears oversized suits to hide the fact that he is a little piggy. Donald Trump is a weak sauce man. He is delicate little flower with small hands and little feet and a tiny penis, and he knows it. So he has to act tough and give all of this bravado to convince us all that he is some tough guy, mafioso, I don't take no shit from nobody, but he is a weak little insecure bitch, and he knows it. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.